So in the previous video, we talked about the anatomy of a Final Cut Pro timeline, but of course, when you're getting started with a project or with Final Cut in general, you won't see any of that intimidating looking stuff. What you're gonna see is a blank screen. And then we can import our footage into that blank screen. So let's just wait for it to load up. It might actually open up with which library would you like to open? And I don't want to open a library, I'm gonna click new. And basically, you wanna be making a new library for every new video. That's just like a simple way of doing it. There are all sorts of fancy organizational things that you can get in Final Cut Pro, but let's just keep it simple. What me and most other YouTubers do, just one library per video. And so I'm gonna store that library in my external hard drive because I don't have enough space on my MacBook storage. And I'm gonna do it within my August 2019 favorites video. So that's the folder that I've made that has all the footage inside it that I've already filmed. And I'm gonna call it Aug 2019 favorites library, just to make things easy. Gonna hit enter, and now we've loaded our library. So you'll see in the library sidebar, we've got August favorites library. We've got smart collections, which we can safely ignore. And we've got the date, which is 7/09/2019. Now this here is an event. 7/09/2019 is a new event. And basically an event, it's kind of hard to describe. I'll link down below to the Final Cut website where they explain this. But again, the way I think about it is one library per video, and within that video, one event. So all you need is one library and one event. Circumstances in which you might want to have additional events. So for example, this weekend I was at the Power of Video kind of conference in Belfast. I filmed lots of vlog footage for that event. And so in my library, I had my day one event and a day two event, because that just let me split up the footage. And then because I was making a review of the British Airways business class flight, I made that into a third event. So events are sort of projects within your library, but actually they're not projects because there's another thing called project. Basically, let's just keep it simple. One library, one event. That's all we need to know for now. And then if you're getting more advanced, you can have a look online for all the various reasons why you might want to have multiple events. At this point, if we click on the library or if we click on the event, we get this option to import media. So that's what we're going to do. But before we do that, I'm just going to open up Finder and I'm going to show you how I've organized my footage. So this is quite a simple video that we're making. It's basically just one single camera. It's external audio that's externally recorded. That's completely optional. You don't have to do that. But if you can record audio externally, I think it does increase your production value because it means you can get slightly better sound. So one camera, one audio, and then a few extra bits and bobs. It's not like I'm working with multiple camera angles or anything like that. So I've just got a little folder called August 2019 favorites. And within that folder, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 MP4 files. We've got these XML files that my Sony a7 III just generates. Not really sure what they do. I just completely ignore them all the time. So we've got these MP4 files, and then we've got this WAV file that's 145 megabytes, which is my audio. So I've just shoved that all from the SD card import into Finder, into my external hard drive. So that's what all the footage looks like on Finder. Let's now click Import Media, and we'll see how to import it. So you'll see this is just a standard file import dialog. Let's go to my 2 terabyte hard drive. Let's find the folder, August 2019 favorites, and let's select these bits. I don't even have to select them. I could just select the folder and it would just know to import all of those bits, but I'm just showing you for clarity that you can multiple select by holding Command. I've got everything selected. Now on the side, it says add to existing event. Now at this point, we could create a new event. We could call it video, but I mean, one library, one event. I always just do add to existing event. So it's going to be added to the event labeled 7/09/2019. Files, we're going to leave the files in place. I don't want to copy the files over to the library because then I'll be using another 50 gigabytes of storage because it'll be trying to copy the files over. So leave files in place if you want to edit them directly where they are. And because they're on this little Samsung T5 solid state drive, which is very fast, I'm completely okay with leaving them as they are. Keywords, ignore. Assign role, ignore. Optimized media and proxy media, again, we can safely ignore that for now. The main point of optimized and proxy media is that let's say you're doing a multi-camera edit and you've got 3 cameras shooting in 4K. Creating proxy media just lets Final Cut know that you want to first turn all of those really enormous 4K video files into tiny, low quality 720p files, for example, because then you can work with those tiny files. But then when it's exporting, it'll relink it back up to your full size files. It means that if you have a computer that's not very powerful, or even if you have a computer that's very powerful, you can just get better performance if you're working with smaller file sizes rather than huge files. Anyway, so we're gonna leave those blank because this particular MacBook is absolutely fine in terms of dealing with 4K video files. And we're gonna ignore all the analyze and fix stuff. That's more advanced stuff that I never really use. So import selected. and we will see that everything has now been imported into our library. So if we click on library, we see all the stuff within the library. If we click on this event, we see all the stuff within the event because it's all part of one event. We'll see we've got our video file number 1, video file number 2, video file number 3, video file number 4, and we've got this audio waveform thing. And you'll notice that as I'm just hovering my mouse through this little browser thing, then it's updating on the fly. So this is quite a nice feature for Final Cut Pro. You can just skim through the video and you can see exactly what's coming up. So this is the organization, the importing basically one library, one event, importing the files into our event browser. And now in the next video, we'll talk about how to actually get started with our A roll. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.